sort of was in that vibration of everything going wonderful and had a lot of money, well, a good amount of money coming from me, from work, etc. And then I dropped out of that vibration.
So what? So what?
I know.
You have options. In other words, you can go there or you can go there. So you know what to do to shift into a better place, or are you like so many others who only have the capacity to observe where you are, so you're sort of stuck where you are?
I've never been like that. I've always, most of my life has been, looking at the next step and doing my best to...
Then a conversation of what's not going well isn't serving you, is it?
Beg your pardon?
A conversation of what's not going well isn't serving you well, is it?
That is correct. So basically...
But it is a step one experience, so it serves you in that way. Just don't get stuck there.
That is correct too. My question was, based on what you were talking about before with other people, what would you recommend in terms of something that I might not be seeing to get to where I want to be?
Well, here's the thing, and this conversation has been very beneficial, because only when you're really tuned close to who you really are and what you want do you see the light in that emphatic way. And of course, it makes you want to say, well, show me that, and then I'll never be confused about what to do. If the right path just lights up for me, then I've got it going on. I can just look for the light. But the tricky thing is, when you're over there focusing upon what is instead of upon what you want to be, now you can't see the light. So how do you get yourself back there? Well, by reaching for the best feeling thought that you can find from where you are, by telling the best feeling story that you can find from where you are. Just by doing your best, by being more optimistic, by being more complimentary, by looking for more things that are working, by describing the things that are working, by beating the drum of things going well, by trying to do your best to see it through the eyes of Source, by complaining less and praising more, by doubting less and expecting more, by paying attention to your gut and guiding your thoughts according to how it feels. In other words, you just have to do the work. There's no alternative. You just have to do the work of trying to find the best feeling thought that you can find from where you are. And it's a wonderful thing when you've been there. When you've been there and you know how it feels, then it feels awful not to be there, but at least you know the potential of being there. You can one day, this is a wonderful description of this. Jerry and Esther were living in Texas, and their daughter Tracy at that time was working and going to school in California. And from time to time, Tracy would come out to a gathering, and she always tried to time her visits with Jerry and Esther for when there was an Abraham gathering. And she would say, I'm coming for my Abraham fix. And then she would say, and it lasts for months. Sometimes I can really keep it going. And then she said on the telephone to her mother, last week, she said, I was so out of sync with who I am. I was so discouraged, and things weren't going well. And I was feeling such, and I was thinking, oh, I need to get on an airplane and I need to go to see Mother and Abraham. I need to get myself tuned back in. And then she said, and then I remembered being in a seminar in Austin and Abraham saying something. I don't even remember what it was. And I remember the feeling of such exhilaration that I wanted to leap to my feet and shout, yes. And she said, and then the feeling came back. So she didn't have to get on an airplane and come out and get her Abraham fix. In other words, all you have to do is remember when you felt the way you now want to feel. And as you focus upon that thought, you know too much.
And that was my next question, which is, it's been very easy for me to, hey, where are you going? Get back onto where you want to be. And I've experienced some kind of resistance that I don't understand.
Well, what we would say about that, if we were standing in your physical shoes, rather than saying there's a heavier resistance that I don't understand, say instead, this is a stronger step one experience, and I bet I'm putting a lot of stuff in my vibrational escrow as a result of this. I know what I don't want. What is it that I do want? In other words, let that experience be clarifying. I don't want to be stagnant. I want to be moving. I don't want to be confused. I want to have clarity. I don't want to be bewildered. I want to be sure. I don't want to not have enough money. I want to have plenty of money. In other words, just let it serve you. This is the thing. This is a theme sort of this gathering here today. We want you to embrace your step one experience as a positive part of the whole. In other words, sometimes we give you the impression that up here where joy and appreciation and friskiness is, that's the only place that you ever ought to be. And we say, that then would say that you shouldn't have come forth into this contrasting experience to begin with. And that's not true. You want the contrast in order to give birth to the clarifying desire. Just don't get hung up there. Just don't keep asking the same questions over and over again. The predominant question that you keep asking, not just you, but so many of you, is why is it taking so long? Why isn't it going better for me? What am I doing wrong? Those questions are terrible questions because they hold you in the vibration. You can't find answers from that kind of vibration of that kind of question. Instead, you want to ask the question, where am I going from here? And how good can this get? And isn't it going to be fun as it unfolds? And aren't I really having a good time in the process? And isn't it good that contrast causes me to continue to expand? And isn't it good that this negative emotion is pointing out to me that I have expanded? I'm just not letting myself take the expansion right now. And wouldn't I rather have expanded and not allow it than to have not expanded? Wouldn't you? That's the best expression of appreciation of negative emotion we've ever heard. I wouldn't be feeling this negative emotion if I hadn't expanded into a better place. Because if you didn't expand into a better place, you wouldn't be feeling the resistance of not having gone there. Ooh, this is good news. I've expanded. I just didn't go, but I did expand. I just didn't go, but I did expand. I'm not stagnant. I'm fulfilling my reason for being. I'm utilizing the contrast in the way that I meant to. Source within me is calling me to a whole new place. I can go when I feel like it. Sometimes Esther will hang around in an ornery place longer than serves her or anyone around her. But we never, ever, ever encourage giving yourself a hard time about your negative emotion. Negative emotion is guidance. And it means you have just expanded, which means you're fulfilling your